Pokemon is the most profitable media franchise of all time, grossing $110 billion to this very day. Part of Pokemon's huge success is its large cast of memorable species, and by large cast of species, I mean a whopping 913 total Pokemon, at the time of this recording at least. However, being that the cast is as large as it is, you're bound to find some Pokemon that are just kind of nothing. Whether it be bad stats, low exposure by Game Freak, or an unmemorable or boring design, these are the Pokemon that I personally feel are a little forgettable. Now, a couple of ground rules. One, just because I find a Pokemon forgettable doesn't necessarily mean I find it bad per se. It's just that I don't think of them when I think of Pokemon. Two, good stats don't make a Pokemon memorable, and bad stats don't make a Pokemon forgettable. If the latter was the case, Pikachu wouldn't be one of the most recognizable characters in all of fiction. Three, if one of these Pokemon just so happened to be your favorite, that's great. I'm glad you can enjoy something that I otherwise cannot. One last thing is, instead of doing a top 10 list like I typically do, I'm going to go by generation and pick what I think is the most forgettable by that generation. So without further ado, let's begin with... When it comes to Generation 1, it's pretty hard to find a forgettable Pokemon. The original 151 has been engraved into everyone, including those who are just casual fans of the franchise. So picking a forgettable Generation Pokemon was pretty difficult, but in the end I had to go with the Dewgong line. A lot of Generation 1 fans claim that later generations have boring Pokemon designs, and the original 151 are perfect. But I can guarantee that they're not talking about the Seel/Dewgong line. I'll give them this, Seel and Dewgong are cute, but they're just a Seel and a Dewgong with their names slightly changed. They don't have a bad typing, but the Lapras and Sfeel line not only have the same typing, but are far more memorable and are overall better Pokemon. The earliest you can capture Seel is Seafoam Islands, which you have to surf to anyway, so by that point you probably have a dedicated water type. Not only that, but you probably have a dedicated ice type too, since you can get Lapras for free in Silphco. Overall, while not a terrible evolution line, you won't hear me sing its praises either. On to Generation 2.
You've conquered Red. You've mastered Blue. You've triumphed over Yellow. You've caught them all! And now, you're ready for the next step. Welcome to the world of Pokemon Gold and Silver. Tons of new Pokemon, new adventures, and worlds to explore. New badges to collect. So you've got to ask yourself, have you got what it takes? Pokemon Gold and Silver, rated E for everyone. Gotta catch them all.
Let me get this straight. You think that
Generation 2 has one of the worst regional dexes in the series?
I do?
This may be an incredibly weird take, especially coming from someone who has Heart Gold and Soul Silver as their favorite Pokemon game, but just hear me out for a second. So Generation 2 has a lot of Pokemon that I like. I like 2 out of the 3 final starter evolutions. Scizor and Heracross are dope. Both the main legends are cool, as well as the legendary dogs. Wooper is in my top 3 favorite Pokemon of all time, even if his stats are some of the worst in the game. You get the picture. But a good portion of the regional decks is just filled with Kanto Pokemon, which I mean, why would you want to use them if you have 100 new Pokemon to choose from? And then you realize a good portion of these new Pokemon are locked behind the post-game, so you won't be able to see them until after the Elite Four. Also, a fair bit of these new Pokemon are rather forgettable, and the most forgettable out of the bunch, in my opinion, is Igglybuff. I often forget that Jigglypuff is an evolved Pokemon. Everyone knows who Jigglypuff is! It's the fat little puffball that sings to put you to sleep. It's a playable character in every single Super Smash Bros. Game. It was even my main back in Melee. And in Pokemon's heyday, it was pretty popular in Japan. But Igglybuff? Why would you ever invest in an Igglybuff? Jigglypuff, and by extension, its evolution Wigglytuff, are already pretty weak, so why would you suffer through an Igglybuff just to get it to that point? At least with Igglybuff's Mount Moon counterpart Cleffa, you get it to eventually evolve it into Clefable, which is not only one of the best fairy types, but one of the best Pokemon, period. No joke. And Cleffa at least gets some pretty great egg moves to make it worth suffering through. To be fair, so does Igglybuff, but its final evolution is just a poor man's Clefable, so it's not even worth it. Unlike the last generation's most forgettable Pokemon, you can get Igglybuff fairly early, but as I said, not even worth it. Next generation.
Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire. Only for Game Boy Advance. Rated E for everyone.
This may sound like bias, but I think that Generation 3 probably has the best regional decks out of all the Pokemon games. You have a healthy mix of old and new Pokemon, and most of the new Pokemon are bangers. Grovyle, banger. Absol, banger. Flygon, banger. Mudkip, best Pokemon ever! When the games didn't allow you to transfer between generations, the developers had to make it so the new Pokemon had to really count. Unfortunately, nobody got the memo for Volbeat and Illumise. A Firefly Pokemon sounds like it could be a really neat Pokemon. Give it a Fire and Bug typing, or even Bug and Electric typing, and just go to town. Problem is, Volbeat and Illumise are pure Bug types. These are also the same Pokemon. Only difference is Volbeat can learn Tail Glow. If they were introduced in a later generation, I guarantee these two would be the same Pokemon, just they'd be gender variants. Maybe they've got good stats? Nope. Base 430. Good designs. Volbeat looks like a pompous asshole, and Illumise looks like a pick-me girl, so God no. Well, it's a weak bug, so maybe you get them early in the game? Somewhat. They appear on Route 117, which is before the second gym, if you choose to do Slateport and Mauville before facing Brawley, and the third gym if you play the game like a normal person. But even then, you've probably caught a Wurmple and evolved it into a Beautifly or Dustox, which, I mean, those aren't good Pokemon either, but still. I know these Pokemon were created for the sole purpose of double battles, as were a lot of Pokemon this generation, but out of all the pair Pokemon, I feel like these two are the worst and most forgettable. Next generation.
With hundreds of Pokemon to catch, battle, and trade, prepare for one of the most exciting Pokemon adventures yet. An epic new journey awaits you. Pokemon Platinum, rated E for everyone.
Generation 4 is like Generation 2 in that the dex is 50% bangers and 50% why do you exist? Wormadam is in the latter half. Generation 4 actually has some good bug types, both returning and new. Wormadam is not a good bug type, like at all. It has 3 forms and none of them make it any better. Its Sandy Cloak form doesn't give it any benefits, the Plant Cloak form is probably the most garbage fully evolved Pokemon, only because of its ass typing and stats that are worse than Illumise and Volbeat. Its trash form has a fairly ironic name because it's easily the best of the 3, but even still there are way better bug and steel types out there. And then we have the process of actually obtaining the Pokemon. Firstly, you gotta evolve Burmy. Hold up, how do you get Burmy? You have to slather honey on honey trees, have a Pokemon with sweet scent in your party, and hope to Arceus that Burmy appears. Oh, and it has to be female. Catch the Burmy, waste a slot in your party, waste time evolving the thing, and there you go. Your waste of a Pokemon is here. Was it worth the wait? I don't think so. Next generation.
ポケットモンスター覚醒
Generation 5 introduced the most amount of new Pokemon with 156 all-new little Scrimblows to collect. One of them was definitely gonna get lost in the crowd. And that Pokemon is the Carracosta line. To tell you the truth, I don't think this line is bad, it's just I find them to be a little disappointing. The rock typing doesn't do them any favors, as it gives them new weaknesses they wouldn't have had they stayed pure water. Not only does it have 4 weaknesses, but its stats are so bad! Aside from defense, special attack, and attack, it has pretty average health, and it's super slow. Like, I get it's a sea turtle, but can't those things move slightly quicker than their land brethren? Oh, but don't you fear. Carracosta can get the Swift Swim ability. Great! Now it goes from a bit... Oh. As I was saying, it goes from a base 32 speed to a base 64, which is slightly faster than Pidgey. Maybe Carracosta has some decent coverage? Well, for its main threat, the grass type, sure, it learns a fair bit of decent ice moves, but good luck trying to knock out anything while going slower than a geriatric on the Trans-Canada Highway during fucking rush hour! The sad thing is, Carracosta could have been great. If they give it a decent regional variant, or in the off chance they bring Mega Evolutions back, they should revisit this Pokemon. The potential is there. They just gotta unlock it. On to Generation 6.
Vika, Pikachu! Vika, Vika! Vika, Vika! Vika, Pikachu!
Ah yes, nobody's favorite generation. They introduced the least amount of new Pokemon, but at least most of them are decent. And Avalugg is here too. Avalugg feels like they got a kid to draw a Pokemon, and then they put it in the game. It's slow and bulky, like almost every other ice type, has incredible defense and attack as well as good HP, but that doesn't help much when it's weak to 4 different types, and it's got terrible special defense, which kinda makes it a piss-poor wall because a good chunk of fire moves are special. At least it can defend itself, but it suffers from the same problem that Carracosta has. It's slow. This Pokemon is just another fine example of Game Freak not knowing what to do with ice types. On to Generation 7. Generation 7 had some banger Pokemon. Say what you will about the games being more hand-holdy than a parent to their child when they see an average Reddit user, but there were some banger Pokemon here. None of which are Stakataka. Stakataka is so bad. It could have been great. It's a rock robot from another dimension. How the fuck do you make that lame? Okay, it's one of the slowest Pokemon in the game, a slow rock type. What? The sky is blue? Oh fuck! But hey, it's beefy, a mighty 211 in defense and a pretty solid 101 in special defense as well as being a hard hitter. How could this Pokemon be bad? You take one look at its weaknesses and everything comes into focus. 3 weaknesses, with 2 being 4 times. Not only that, but it can't take anything. Not with that health. Out of all the Ultra Beasts, it sucks that this one ended up being the worst. On to Generation 8. Generation 8 is the generation where they moved to the land of tea and crumpets, told a bunch of Pokemon to go fuck themselves, and then made Golem again, but somehow worse. I honestly don't understand what the point of Colossal is. You have Golem. 2 of them. So, why make another?
It's another rock type with great defenses and terrible speed and too many weaknesses to make up those defenses, so we're really not breaking any new ground here. My one memory with this thing is I was playing Generation 8 PU, and as a goof, I put Mudkip on my team. It was my last Pokemon, and I was facing Colossal. With no stat boosts whatsoever, I one-shotted the damn thing. No joke. So that is my most forgettable Pokemon by generation. When I came into this video, I was expecting a much harsher critique of some of these Pokemon, but a lot I was just kind of disappointed by, because I could actually see the potential. Now, thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, subscribe and tap the bell for more notifications on the TheRekounasShow content. Stay tuned next time for my long-awaited review of Transistor.